Well, hi there. Welcome to challenge number 12 of our monthly Prep Your Pantry challenge. Hi there. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Luann, and this is challenge number 12 of our monthly Prep Your Pantry challenge, which makes this the final challenge of our 12-month series. Well, if you've been following along, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking around. And if you're new here, I just want to let you know that you're right on time, because these challenges are designed so that you can start at any point in the process. Just to let you know a little bit about how this challenge works, I post a video on the first day of each month listing 3 or 4 items for us to focus on for the month. This challenge is totally customizable based on your needs and your budget. You can choose to focus on one item for the entire month, or you can do a different item for each week of the month. It's totally up to you and how you choose to approach the challenge. This challenge is filled with people everywhere from beginners to experts. So if you have any questions or advice, be sure to list them down below in the comments section so that we can grow and learn together. In addition to this YouTube challenge, we also have a Facebook group. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down below in the description box, and all you have to do is answer that one security question to gain approval into the group. Well, I think that pretty well sums up how this challenge works. So this is the point where we head on into the kitchen and let me show you this month's challenge items. Okay, so here we are with our first challenge, and that is snacks and desserts. Now, I know whenever you hear snacks and desserts, you may not think that it's very important or necessary whenever it comes to surviving a crisis. But actually, it may be a good idea to have a few of these items on hand, because these type of items also help in raising morale and lowering anxiety. So for those of you that really aren't into a whole lot of junk food and you would rather choose healthier alternatives, then I'm going to go ahead and jump into a few examples of those items first. Now, some of them could be trail mix, granola bars, nuts, popcorn, granola bars, and those are just a few examples. So just to dig a little deeper into those items, when it comes to your trail mix, most trail mixes are made up of nuts, dried fruits, and seeds. And the shelf life of those individually is going to be anywhere from 6 months to a year in a cool, dry place. If you put them in a Ziploc bag in a refrigerator, then that's where you're going to get your longer storage of up to a year, but just regular pantry shelf temperatures, no extreme colds or hots. They're going to last you a minimum of 6 months before the nuts begin to get a little rancid. This bag of trail mix that I have here, I purchased at Aldi's. I've had it probably for at least 6 months, and the date on it is 9/20/22. So we're looking at another year before this even goes out of date. For the mixed nuts here, I also got them, let's see, yeah, these are from Aldi's, but you can get them at Walmart or any of your regular grocery stores. And these actually have a May of 2023 date on it. So we're looking at 2 years out on this can. I don't have any dried fruit in front of me, so you have to do your own research on that. But the research that I have done is that your nuts, your dried fruit, all of those are going to have about the same shelf life, anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending on how you're storing that. Airtight sealed in the refrigerator, you're definitely going to get a year out of those. And on your normal pantry shelf, you can expect a minimum of 6 months. Now, moving on to another healthy snack is granola. This can easily be made at home with ingredients that you probably already have in your pantry. Now, the shelf life for granola is going to vary depending on your ingredients, but a good dry version of granola is going to last you a minimum of 1 year. Now, along the same lines as granola is granola bars. Again, easily made at home yourself, or you can purchase these in different varieties. And these are also going to last you at least 1 to 2 years in your pantry. Okay, staying focused on some of the healthier alternatives would be popcorn. It's very low in calories, and this is actually a forever food. So you're not going to have to worry about expiration dates when it comes to popcorn. And then finally, before we get into the dessert side of things, I want to mention the dark chocolate. Now, this dark chocolate can go either way. If you don't have a whole lot of self-control, it can definitely be an indulgent. But there are a lot of great health benefits to having dark chocolate as part of your regular snacking routine. Another good thing about having dark chocolate in your pantry is that its shelf life is up to 2 years. Now, moving along to some dessert type examples would be cake mixes. These you can purchase very cheap in your grocery store for usually around $1, and sometimes you can even catch them on sale for less than $1. Cake mixes are very versatile, so I love having several boxes of cake mix on hand in my prepper pantry. Now here's another example, and that would be for muffins. You can buy these in the little pouches in the box, and of course with cake mixes and muffin mixes, you can also make them from scratch using your regular staple pantry items. The muffin mixes are great to have on hand for breakfast and for dessert. So again, another very versatile item. When it comes to expiration date, most muffin mixes are going to last you anywhere from 12 to 18 months. And when it comes to cake mixes, it's about the same amount of time, 12 to 18 months. But another little tip here is that cake mixes are good and safe up to 4 to 5 months after their printed expiration dates. Okay, so now let's move along to Jell-O. If you do some research, you're going to find that in most cases, this is deemed a forever food. Jell-O is going to last an extremely long time in your pantry. Another great thing about Jell-O is that the only thing that you need to prepare it is some boiling water. So this is a great item to keep in your prepper pantry. And then next is pudding. You can buy these in the cups and in the powdered form. Of course, the powdered form is going to last a lot longer. You can usually get a 2 to 3 year shelf life out of boxed pudding mixes. And that's it for the examples that I have for this first challenge. But before I move on to the next, I just want to show you a few ways that I store these items. Now, I'm a strong believer that anything that's bought from the store in a bag or a box needs to be removed immediately and put into an airtight container. This is what I'm using right now, and these are from the Dollar Tree, so I only paid $1 for each one of these. They are airtight. I just would say twist them in the store, make sure that you get a good seal on that. But there are a lot of different options when it comes to airtight storage containers. I personally prefer glass. If I don't have a glass storage container that my product will fit into, usually a mason jar will work just as good. Here I'm just showing you that I have some almonds, pecans, granola, my popcorn, and then some trail mix that are in my glass containers. Also, I've showed this in a video before too, but this is actually a magazine rack, and it perfectly fits my cake mixes. It keeps them all stacked together without them falling over on the shelves, and I can write the dates on the end. Same thing for my puddings and Jell-Os. This is a magazine rack or file folder, I don't know what you want to call them, but this houses all of my Jell-Os and puddings, and usually I even keep my Sure-Jell in here. So just a few examples of how I like to store these items in my pantry. Now let's move on to challenge number 2. Okay, so here we are with our second challenge for the month, and this is the long-term emergency food supply. Now in front of me are just a few examples of what those items could look like. The majority of mine are going to be from ReadyWise, but Mountain House is also another popular brand. First tip for this challenge, and that is to buy these individual bags so that you can taste test these, decide what your favorites are, and then you can invest in stocking up on those items. Just some examples here. This is a new company that we just started using called Prepper Cheffer. I'm not sure if it's available in all areas yet, but it is new to my area. And so what we did is we just bought a variety of the things that they had to offer, and then we'll decide what our favorites are, and those are what we'll stock up on. Some examples is we have lasagna here, biscuits and gravy. This is a pot roast. Just too many to mention because there's so many different flavors and varieties when it comes to these type of foods. But since we are talking in this month about snacks and desserts, I wanted to point out that here in the front, I do have some. We have a brownie crispy bites, key lime pie bites, and cheesecake crispy bites. And another one of our favorites from Mountain House are these ice cream sandwiches. They don't have to be refrigerated, so if you can get past eating a room temperature ice cream sandwich, they're pretty enjoyable. But even these long-term food companies believe that it's important to have some snacks and desserts in your long-term prepper pantry. Now, I did also want to show you just different ways that you can purchase these. Of course, we have the bucket, and this is good for 25 years. It has 120 servings, and the only thing that you're going to need to prepare these meals is water. And included in this one, we have hearty tortilla soup, chili macaroni, chicken flavored noodle soup, cheesy lasagna, teriyaki rice, cheesy macaroni, a tomato basil soup with pasta, pasta Alfredo, a loaded baked potato casserole, Southwest rice and beans, savory stroganoff, potatoes and chicken flavored pot pie, creamy pasta, and vegetables. Now, most of these are going to come in 4-serving pouches, so this is, in my opinion, one of the best things that you can have in your extended long-term prepper pantry. Now, most of you know, if you've been following my channel, that my extended prepper pantry is only going to have items that are going to last up to about 5 years or less. But because it is the majority of items that I use on a regular basis, I'm going to rotate through those items more often than that. But outside of that, I still believe that it's very important to have a few of these 25 to 30-year items on hand. Now, another example, once you've tried those individual items and you've decided what you like and you're not quite ready to invest in a whole bucket, you can purchase these in little cases. And for example, in this box, we're going to have pouches that are only the Crest Peak creamy potato and chicken, creamy pasta and chicken. And in this box, I have the ReadyWise Desert High Chili Mac and Beef. These are the flavors that we've determined already are some of our favorites. So now it's okay to go ahead and stock up on those. Now, if you're still not ready to make that kind of investment, I wanted to show you this little 3-day weekender. Now, something like this and even the individual pouches are great just to have on hand if you're going away for the weekend on a camping or hiking trip. And this 3-day weekender is absolutely perfect for something like that. It's lightweight. The only thing, again, that you'll need to prepare these is water. So you can just throw this in with your camping or hiking equipment and you're good to go. This one includes 6 entrees, 3 breakfasts, and 3 snacks. And just to tell you what they are so that you can know what you're getting in these type of bags, we have the Appalachian Apple Cinnamon Cereal, Old Country Pasta Alfredo with chicken, Golden Fields Mac and Cheese, Sunrise Strawberry Granola Crunch, Free Line Teriyaki Chicken and Rice, Still Lake Lasagna with Sausage, Desert High Chili Mac with Beef, Chocolate Royale Shake, Simple Kitchen Strawberries and Bananas, and Simple Kitchen Apple Slices. So really, again, all you would need for a weekend trip, as well as having something great to have in your extended prepper pantry. Another thing to point out, as a bonus, this comes with this 10-liter dry bag. Another great essential to have for your hiking or camping trips. Okay, so that's going to do it for the second challenge item. So let's get started on the third item for this month's challenge. Okay, so if you haven't figured it out, challenge number 3 is our non-food item, and we're going to be focusing on ways to either stay cool when it's hot outside or warm when it's cold outside. And here in front of me are just a few examples of ways you can go about that. So let's go ahead and begin going over these, and we'll start with how to stay warm when the weather turns cold. Now here in front of me in this big box is the Mister Heater. It is a propane indoor heater, and it does take these smaller propane canisters. But if you don't want to invest in a bunch of these little bottles and you already have the big bottles for, say, your gas grill or something like that, they do sell this adapter. So you can hook it directly up to your larger propane tanks. Now let's talk about just a few other practical things that can help you stay warm. And first up here, I want to talk about the insulated underwear, long johns, whatever you want to call them. My entire life, I've always had a pair or two of these on hand, but whenever it came to the Texas freeze, I didn't have any. So I was stuck wearing like pajamas and regular leggings, and I got really cold. So as soon as that was over, I invested in this 2-pack pair of insulated underwear. Now I'll be sure to link as many of these items as I can down below. The next item, we'll go ahead and talk about other things that you can wear to stay warm. Most of these are common sense that I'm sure you can already think up for yourself, but the point of this challenge is just to get that mindset going and put our focus on these things depending on which season you're getting ready to head into. Because you don't want to learn the hard way when the freeze already hits and there's nothing available. So now is the time to get prepared for those situations. Now here in front of me, I have a scarf, some leg warmers. Not in front of me would be things like gloves and hats. So you just get creative with it. If you live in a warm climate where it doesn't get very cold very often, then my advice to you would be to just put together maybe 2 or 3 outfits from head to toe, and then just tuck them away in a safe place where they'll be there when you need them. Okay, now another item would be wool blankets or electric blankets. These are great items to invest in if you don't have any. If you can, try to get at least one per family member. And now for a few items that I'm not going to have in front of me, but definitely need to be talked about, and that would be if you have a fireplace. Of course, that is a common sense way to stay warm if the weather turns cold, but you do also have to plan ahead when it comes to a fireplace. If you live in a climate like South Texas, where you probably don't use that fireplace very often, if at all, then I would like to encourage you during this challenge just to hire someone to come in and inspect and clean your chimney and make sure that it's good to go for the upcoming season. A fireplace is not only great to keep warm, it also provides another cooking alternative. Now, if you don't have a fireplace, something similar to that would be an outdoor fire pit. You can definitely stay warm surrounding an outdoor fire pit, and you can also use that as a cooking alternative. Another thing that you're going to have to plan ahead for is the firewood. You can't depend on being able to run to your local gas station and buy a bundle of logs, because in a crisis situation, those are going to sell out very quickly. So I would urge you to start gathering, chopping, stacking that firewood, because you're going to have to allow time for that to dry out, usually a minimum of 1 year in advance. So the wood that you cut this year will not be ready to burn until this time next year. Now, if you're doing this challenge heading into the summer months, then your mind is probably going to be more focused on ways to keep cool. So let's go over a few of those. Of course, the best way, in my opinion, would be to have a swimming pool of some sort. This doesn't have to be a fancy in-ground pool. Any sized above-ground pool is sufficient for cooling off. just some way that you can get wet, get your body temperature down, and cool off. Another thing that you're going to want to do to keep cool is have some fans to circulate the air. A tip that I have to go along with that to keep it a little cooler on the inside would be invest in some blackout curtains. Even if you don't hang them all the time, at least have some folded away and put in your linen closet or somewhere for emergency purposes. It's very easy to just slide off those light curtains that you have now and slide on the blackout curtains. Yes, it's going to make your house feel like a cave, but it's going to keep things a lot cooler. Now, some other things that you can have on hand are bandanas. These can be dipped in water and placed around your neck, around your head. This is an example of what I like to use whenever I'm working outside, and that is the Frog Togs cooling pads. Basically, this is a chamois. It holds in a lot of water. You just put it around your neck, and it's going to take a long time for that to dry out because it can hold so much water. So these are great to have as well. Now, along those lines, another thing that you can purchase are the gel ice packs that you can keep in your freezer. Also, some ice bags that you actually unscrew the top and fill it with ice. Those will help keep you cool if you just place it on your neck, again, just like the bandanas. So just a few options there on how to keep your body cool. And one more thing that I like to keep on hand in the summertime are popsicles. You're always going to be able to find some form of frozen fruit juice or popsicles in my freezer. They don't take up a lot of space. They're very cheap. You can take some of your instant Kool-Aid mixes from your prepper pantry and make them yourself, or you can buy the little, I think they're called igloos or something, where they're in the long little pouches. A case of those is dirt cheap, and they're great to have on hand in the summer months. Again, just get creative with all of this. The challenge this month is just to get in that mindset and put your focus in these areas so that you're prepared. Even if you're heading into the summer and you've got everything covered, then go ahead and get ready for the upcoming winter season. There's never a bad time to get prepared. Now, before we leave this challenge item, I would like to also share with you an item that my husband and I invested in after the freeze. Here is the Winter Elite 12,000 BTU portable air conditioner and heater. This also acts as a dehumidifier, and it has a fan with an activated carbon filter plus an auto pump and storage bag. Right now, this is available on sale for only $460. Or you also have the option to make 5 monthly payments of $92.12. I'm just going to scroll through some of the pictures here so that you can see what that looks like. This is the back. This is another picture of the front. These are all of the attachments that come with it. As you can see there's the remote control. This is so that you can hook the hoses up and run them out a window or a door. This picture here kind of shows you the size of it in your room. Here's an up close of the control panel. It is very easy to operate. And if you go to the Amazon link that I'm going to provide for you, there's also a couple videos that you can watch. This was rated as Good Housekeeping's best portable air conditioners to buy in 2019. And just to tell you a little more about it, it does have those 4 operational modes of air conditioner, fan, heat, or dehumidifier. And it will cool or heat a space up to 400 square feet. We're just very pleased with this purchase, and it sure has given us a lot of peace of mind. It looks like there's only 15 left in stock, but if you order soon, it can be in before Christmas. Now, before I closed out this challenge, I wanted to be sure to share at least 5 tips with you. The first one being to buy what you eat and eat what you buy. It just doesn't make sense to go out and buy a whole bunch of rice and beans if your family is not going to eat the rice and beans, or if your body isn't going to accept all those beans, because the last thing you're going to want is to be ill in a crisis. And number 2 kind of goes against that first one, and that is to be sure to buy a few of the long-term comparable items. These may be items that you don't eat on a regular basis, like canned green beans or any canned vegetables that you buy from the store, or even these long-term emergency food items that I shared with you today. But I do believe that it's important to have a few of those items on hand for backup. Number 3, I have to point out again how important water is. We cannot survive beyond 3 days without water. Also, as you've noticed, most of these items, in order to be able to prepare them, you're gonna need water. The rule of thumb is to allow 1 gallon per person per day. And remember, that also includes what you're gonna need for hygiene and cleaning. So my advice would be to do 2 gallons, or at the minimum, 1.5 gallons per person per day. And then decide on the time frame. Do you want to have enough for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? Water really isn't something, because you need so much, that you're gonna be able to stock up for 10, 20 years. So the main thing is to figure out how much you're gonna need for that first year, purchase that, then double it, then triple it, and I wouldn't go beyond 5 years on that, and then just constantly be rotating through that to keep it fresh. Now, my 4th tip would be to stay informed, but don't become overwhelmed. Social media and the news media have a way of exaggerating everything, because their goal is to keep you on edge and to keep you in somewhat of a high anxiety fear mode. And I'm here to say that is just not necessary on a normal day-to-day basis. Watch just enough of the news to be aware of what's going on out there and prepare accordingly. As long as you stock your home with the essentials that your family is going to need, there's no reason to be in panic mode every single day. Like I always try to say, you can be prepared without being scared. And the 5th tip that I have for you would be to develop the habit of setting aside time at the very least once a month to reevaluate your prepper pantry. During this time, you'll want to get familiar with your inventory, make sure your rotation is being followed properly, make a list of items that you're going to need to fill in the gaps, and just like these challenge videos, make sure that you're putting your focus on at least 1 or 2 items per month. Now, I have several videos on how to rotate and stock and start a prepper pantry, and I'll be sure to list all those down below, and I'll list one at the end as well so that you can check those out after this video. Well, that brings us to a close of our 12-month Prep Your Pantry Challenge. And somehow during the 12 months, I've managed to get that one video up on the first day of every month. And I did my very best not to date them so that you could jump into this challenge at any point in the process. And what I mean by that is you don't have to start with challenge 1 in January. You can do challenge 1 in December if that's what you want to do. You can start anywhere within the 12 months. Now, I have created a playlist on my channel. If you go directly to my channel, click on the playlist tab, you will find one that's going to list all of these challenges in one place so that they're easy to find. So I hope that you'll continue to use these challenges, and please feel free to share them with someone else. And don't forget, we do have that Facebook group that I would love for you to join. Just be sure to answer that one security question so that I can accept you into the group. And my goal going into the next year is to be present there, offering more tips, advice, news, recipes, storage ideas, and just anything else that will help you keep your pantry prepped. Well, I want to give you such a big thank you for showing up each month and going through these challenges with me. And if you're new here, I look so forward to getting to know you in the comment section down below or in our Facebook group. Well, this 12-month Prep Your Pantry Challenge may be over, but there are plenty more pantry videos to come. So if you haven't subscribed, I hope that you'll take a few moments to do so now, and if you hit that little notification bell, it will notify you each time that I put out a new video. Well, until next time, stay strong, stay safe, and happy prepping. Bye!